Hey guys, in this video, I'm going to be covering a strong competitive moveset build to teach Mightyena in the 3rd generation Pokemon games, as well as some other options that you could possibly fit in to this moveset, and whether these moves are learned through leveling up, through TM, etc. And also touching on the item ability and nature that you might want to have on your Mightyena. So taking a look here, Mightyena is a dark type Pokemon, leaving it immune to Psychic, resisting Dark and Ghost, and then weak to Bug and Fighting. Its ability is going to be Intimidate. On switch-in, this Pokemon lowers the attack of the adjacent opponents by 1 stage. And not the best stats by any means across the board. Pretty mediocre to lower tier. You have attack as its best number at 90, and then you have 70 for HP, defense, and speed, and then 60 for the special attack and special defense. So taking a look at this build, you see Heal Bell is the first option. It's actually really tricky to get Heal Bell on a Mightyena, so I'll give you another option that you can slide in here. But to start off with, Heal Bell, it cures the user's party of all status conditions. And for Mightyena, when we look at its 3rd generation learn set and all the moves that it has available to it, you actually have to scroll all the way to the bottom of the Bulbapedia page to find by prior evolution Heal Bell. And if we take a look here at this little XD, this is indicating that you have to pick this up in Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness. And special moves can be picked up in the video game Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness. And I'll link this article down in the description if you want to check it out for yourself on how to pick up Heal Bell on a Poochyena in that particular game. But if you're just playing your way through Emerald, Sapphire, or Ruby and you don't have to deal with all that, I think you can insert Protect, for instance, in this area, because Protect can always be good in combination with Toxic as well as Leftovers, because Protect essentially just gives you another free move where your poisoned opponent gets whittled down by that Toxic, and then you gain the health from Leftovers. And Protect is going to be TM17, found over at the Lilycove department store. And in the Lilycove department store, it's going to be on the 4th floor from the right cashier. And that's where you can pick up TM17 Protect for 3,000. Move number 2, we have Roar, which can be an interesting utility option. It forces the target to switch to a random ally. So if you're going against something that Mightyena might not be all that good against, you can force your opponent to switch out. Now, if you want to go a little more in the way of bringing some diversified damage to the table, other than just Crunch, which is a 20% chance to lower the target's special defense by 1, 80 power, 100 accuracy, and both Roar and Crunch are going to be things that Mightyena learns through leveling up. You could also potentially go with something like a Shadow Ball instead of Roar, again, if you wanted to mix up the type of damage that you have available to yourself to deal against the opposition. But starting off here with Roar, when we take a look at the moves learned through leveling up, it is going to be picked up at level 22, whereas Crunch is picked up at level 47. Shadow Ball is a ghost type move, so again, you have a dark type move with Crunch, and then you can get good coverage by also having Shadow Ball in there, which is going to be TM 30. And Shadow Ball is going to be on the 6th floor on the southern side of Mount Pyre, and I'll show you where that's located. It's going to be Mount Pyre, you surf over to it, and it's located in this area of the Hoenn region map. And as you work your way up Mount Pyre, this is going to be the 6th floor. It's going to be in the southern region of that 6th floor room. That's where you can pick up the TM for Shadow Ball. And then move number 4, we have Toxic, badly poisoning the target, 85% accuracy. And TM06 is found on the Fiery Path in the northwest corner of the caves. It does require strength to reach this. It is located in this region of the Hoenn map. So just as a quick recap here, you can go Heal Bell, which cures the user's party of all status conditions, but if you're having trouble getting this move, you can also slot in something like a Protect, which pairs well with Toxic as well as Leftovers, giving you that extra turn of healing as well as damaging through the poison of Toxic. And then you can also go with Roar and Crunch, and if you wanted more diverse moves in terms of inflicting damage, instead of Roar, you could also slide in something like a Shadow Ball. And the item Leftovers, at the end of every turn, the holder restores 1/16 of its max HP. And Leftovers can be found over on the SS title, and it's going to be in the storage room in one of the waste bins. You can also pick this up with repeatable methods in Ruby and Sapphire at the Battle Tower with a streak of 35 or more. It's a random prize in that instance, whereas an Emerald version at the Battle Frontier, you can pick it up for 48 battle points. And we already touched on Intimidate, so going on to the nature, Bold is recommended here, which increases your defense, decreases your attack, and this is a fine option to go with as long as you're going with Roar instead of Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball works off of physical attack stats, so you wouldn't want to lower your attack in that sense, whereas Crunch works off of your special. You get a same type attack bonus on Crunch, which is a benefit to that dark type move, using that on Mightyena. However, Mightyena does have a relatively weak special attack, so it's not the worst thing to have a Shadow Ball to work off of its higher attack stat. And really, when we take a look at the nature tree for a Mightyena, especially if you're mixing things up between your attack and special attack with Shadow Ball and Crunch, then you really don't want any of your stats to be decreased because you're not getting really much benefit out of reducing your defense, your special attack, your special attack, or your speed. However, if you do go with the build that has Roar instead of Shadow Ball, then you could pick a nature where you decrease that attack stat. So those would be decent options to go with. We saw Bold listed in that instance, or you could also do something like a Timid, which increases speed, decreases attack, Modest, which increases special attack, decreases attack, or Calm, which increases special defense, reduces attack. But again, if you go with a more mixed attacker build, you could go with neutral across the board, which would be something like a Hardy, Docile, Serious, Bashful, or Quirky. But other than that, you're just going to have to choose which stat you don't mind being reduced by the most and then pick a nature according to your preferences based on what is going to be decreased and what's going to be increased. For me personally, I typically like increasing something like your speed or one of the attack stats, such as attack or special attack, to deal out more damage. But since our Mightyena is going to have Toxic, you're kind of more passively dealing damage if you're poisoning your opposition. So in that instance, it might not be all that bad to raise something like your defense or potentially your special defense. And that's going to round this one out. So I appreciate you guys stopping by. For links for the articles used in this video, you can find those down in the description. Consider subscribing to the YouTube channel, and I'll catch you back here next time.